1351 on the 11th October 2023. In County Government Act 2012, Section 24 2P, and the Kisii County Assembly Standing Order 1352P, I refer back the Kisii County Finance Bill 2023 I refer back the Kisii County Finance Bill 2023 for reconsideration by the Kisii County Assembly for the reasons said out here under. Section 2, Clause 2.14D of the bill that has proposed to introduce charges on Christian bowers, nights, that is cases, street preaching, wedding parties, be amended. Whereas the bill has proposed progressive strategies aimed at widening the revenue base, enhancing collection and administration to bridge the budget deficit, the public participation exercise that was conducted by the County Assembly Committee of Budget and Appropriation pursuant to Article 196 1P of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and Section 87A P of the County Government Act 2012 ought to have considered the views from these critical groups of religious community. In addition, the bill in its form overlooks the vital role played by the religious groups in the socio-economic development of the society, taking into consideration that religion is an integral component in shaping morality and uprightness of the society, to participate in productive activities for vibrant economy. As a government, we have the responsibility to ensure that our faith-based organizations are given a conducive environment to exercise their freedom of worship. Therefore, judging their operations will embed their contribution to the society. Recommendations. For the foregoing reasons, I recommend that Section 2, Clause 214D be treated. Signed on 23rd day of October 2023 by His Excellency Paulo Simba Alati, Governor, Kisii County. Honorable members, pursuant to Standing Order 39-3C1, now refer the memorandum to His Excellency the Governor to the budget. I now refer the memorandum from His Excellency the Governor to the Budget and Appropriation Committee for consideration and report back to this House within 14 days. Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next.
Order number 5, papers.
Reader or majority.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I hereby table the submission of the county budget review and outlook paper CPRO financial year 2022-2023. I table. Mr. Speaker, I also table the audit reports within the complying financial year statement, financial year 2021-2022.
Thank you, Reader. The county budget review and outlook paper are now committed to the budget and appropriation committee for the reparations, so that it can come to this house for the reparation, because this is one of the important papers which the Honorable House need to discuss and agree on various issues. On the issue of audit report 2021-2022, I now committed to PAC committee for the reparations. Next. Order.
Next order, notice of motion.
Next. Yes, point of order, Honorable Ndari.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity. And I want to stand on standing order number 30. And maybe, Mr. Speaker, before I say that order, I want also to take this opportunity to welcome back members from the short recess. I know they have had time to interact with their residents and their ward members, Mr. Speaker. And of course, it has been nice because, Mr. Speaker, we had a recess when our children were preparing to sit for their exams. And for the first time, Mr. Speaker, this time we have 3 sets of exams. I heard we have an exam called Kisii Kisii. Oh. And this is the last time pupils and students in Kenya are sitting for the last time for KCPE. And Mr. Speaker, we have the KCSE. We wish them well, Mr. Speaker, and I know most of us, Mr. Speaker, visited so many schools to wish our students well. And I know God is going to assist them so that there is no interruption as they sit for their exams, Mr. Speaker. But having said that, Mr. Speaker, I am standing on this point, standing order number 31, which Mr. Speaker says any member may at any time rise in his or her place and seek leave to move the adjournment of the county assembly for the purpose of discussing a definite matter, urgent county importance. Mr. Speaker, sir, the reason why I'm standing on that standing order, Mr. Speaker, is because of the happenings of yesterday, the 30th day of October 2023, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we woke up preparing to do so many things, those which pertains our work as honorable members and even for the county staff, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, you know, maybe others have not known, but we are the presence of a contingent of GSU police officers, Mr. Speaker, GSU officers in our county. And Mr. Speaker, it made us not be able to discharge our duties, Mr. Speaker. I can say even me, yesterday I had programmed so many activities, Mr. Speaker, to visit so many officers, but there were no officers, Mr. Speaker. Because there was some tension in our town, Mr. Speaker. And maybe before, Mr. Speaker, I can say much, it requires if members can support me by standing at least 20, Mr. Speaker, we can continue with this motion. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to ask members if they are in support, they can support me by standing at least 20 of them, Mr. Speaker, so that we can...
Honorable Ndari,
Mr. Speaker.
I think it is the Speaker who can ask the members to stand. So it is not you. Members who are in support, can you stand? I think as per the motion, yes, I am giving you a point of order. I think as per the motion, the members are more than 20, the motion can proceed. Honourable members, yes, I am giving you a point of order, Honourable Ismail. Honourable members, the motion Honourable Mondala has brought. As the Speaker, I agree that the matter the honourable member has raised is indeed of urgent to the county importance, and the further understanding order that Honourable Ismail, the standing order is self-explanatory. The motion has brought to me, and I have approved the order given to me. Were you in my office when the motion was brought? Honourable Ismail, were you in my office? You were reading the standing order. Proceed. Proceed. Honourable members, let me remind you once more that I don't work with you in my offices, and you are not there when I approve the motions. All of the statements which come to this house, you are not in my office when I am approving them. Therefore, you cannot challenge me that I have not approved. Because, Honourable Ismail, you yourself at one point, I have approved your statements, but you are not there when I am approving it. So get guided properly. Move forward. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, thank you again for the opportunity. And Mr. Speaker, I want to state as follows, Mr. Speaker. Now, saying, Mr. Speaker, I was not able to go to offices, Mr. Speaker, because so many officers had gone to see what was happening, Mr. Speaker. And even when I was called also to see what was happening, I saw a contingent of GSU officers at the Kisii Stadium, Mr. Speaker, where currently the governor has his offices, Mr. Speaker, because of the renovations which are going on here, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, we were not able to know what is happening in Kisii, Mr. Speaker. As a law-abiding citizen, Mr. Speaker, and a representative of the people, Mr. Speaker, one of the pastors where I hold church, Mr. Speaker, recently visited Canada, Mr. Speaker, and is there. He wrote me a message asking me what is happening in Kisii, Mr. Speaker. He is in Canada, but he saw over the social media, Mr. Speaker. Several people from my ward, Mr. Speaker, yesterday were calling me. And the last person, Mr. Speaker, who called me in the evening at around 9:45 p.m., is one of the residents of my ward, Mr. Speaker, who comes from Ogembo town. And they wanted to understand, Mr. Speaker, what is happening in Kisii. Because you know, Mr. Speaker, it was all over in the social media. It was, Mr. Speaker, in our TV stations that, Mr. Speaker, police had blocked the entrance of the governor to his office, Mr. Speaker. And that meant, Mr. Speaker, there was some either intimidations, Mr. Speaker, or the GSU officers were up to something, Mr. Speaker, which we can't understand, Mr. Speaker, as people from Kisii. And because I represent the people, Mr. Speaker, I decided that we have this matter be discussed in this assembly so that, Mr. Speaker, we can indeed know what was happening yesterday, so that we are able to give this information back to our people, because they don't know what is happening, Mr. Speaker. Some about 3 months ago, Mr. Speaker, we also had a contingent of police officers in this assembly, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, so many parents of ours, because some of us are our parents, Mr. Speaker, were calling to inquire from us what was happening. And we were not able, Mr. Speaker, even to explain. It has started, Mr. Speaker, as a culture that police officers or even GSU officers can come to this county, can come anywhere, Mr. Speaker, restricted areas, and Mr. Speaker, perform their duties. There is nobody who stops them, Mr. Speaker, from coming to perform their duties. But at least we have to understand what is happening so that we can report to our people, Mr. Speaker. Because they are making the county to seem like a police county, Mr. Speaker. And which is making our work to be very hard, Mr. Speaker, because I have said I was not able to go to offices yesterday, Mr. Speaker, because of that. And therefore, I want purposely, Mr. Speaker, to know why the police or the GSU were at the showground yesterday or at the Kisii Stadium, Mr. Speaker. What was their intention? What is happening in Kisii, Mr. Speaker, so that we can know how we are supposed to operate, Mr. Speaker. We fear, Mr. Speaker, once the GSU are here, and I've heard, Mr. Speaker, there were students of Achira. I don't know whether there is a program called Achira, Mr. Speaker. Achiri, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I do not gotten the name well, but it is Achiri, Mr. Speaker, who do their environment trainings at the show or at the Kisii Stadium, Mr. Speaker. When they saw the police or when they saw the GSU armed, Mr. Speaker, and taking positions, they were scampering for their safety, Mr. Speaker. And I've heard one of the students, Mr. Speaker, was pregnant and she miscarried, Mr. Speaker, while she was being rushed to hospital, Mr. Speaker. It is unfortunate, Mr. Speaker, because if people can come or the security team can come without notice, Mr. Speaker, and they start giving fear to our people, Mr. Speaker, sometimes I don't know where we are heading, Mr. Speaker, or we are heading to the dirty days of, Mr. Speaker, the Moi era, or the Kanu era, or the Jogo era, where, Mr. Speaker, people are not allowed to speak, Mr. Speaker. And because, Mr. Speaker, I don't have enough information, but it's because it is in the social media, Mr. Speaker, that some members, Mr. Speaker, or some leaders in Kisii are posting, Mr. Speaker, over making Kisii to be ungovernable, Mr. Speaker. I don't understand, and we are not going to be able to perform our duties, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to understand. And because, Mr. Speaker, I was supported, I don't have to ask anybody to support again, but, Mr. Speaker, I can open this for discussion because I don't understand what is happening. Thank you.
You ask for the secondment.
Oh, I asked for the secondment. I asked the DS to second me.
Honorable Speaker, I also want to take this opportunity to welcome back the honorable members from a short recess, and indeed second the motion by Honorable James Ondari. And I want to say that the drafters of the Constitution of Kenya saw it fit that we have two levels of government. We have the national government and 47 county governments in Kenya. The governor, who is Paul Simbarati, is properly in office. He was elected by the majority of voters in Kisii County, and therefore is performing functions pursuant to the Constitution, and the presence of the police without his information in his office and the threats of investigating him or going to his house to either plant weapons and all those things should not be allowed. There should be respect for two levels of government, and indeed we should not be accepted that we should have a contingent of police officers coming to our offices to threaten the working of our people. His Excellency the Governor is properly in office, and indeed he should be allowed to serve the people of Kisii, who elected him in numbers and expect him to deliver in the next 3 or 4 years that are remaining to the end of his term. I therefore second the motion and ask that we should get a report from the DCI, which we visited yesterday. It was, when we visited the DCI, it was so saddening that the DCIO of Kisii County was not able to explain the reasons as to why the officers were at the stadium. And the only explanation they could give was that they were relaxing. And then I asked myself a question, how could that they didn't know that the office of the governor exists within the stadium. And these are officers that I have seen. The governor was sworn during the day that he was sworn in, and everyone knows that the Kisii County, the governor's office is under renovation and is using the stadium as an office. Therefore, I want to see this as a provocation, looking at the media reports that we have received, that some members that come and hail from this particular county will actually want to sabotage the working of the government of Kisii, which is properly in office and should be respected as such and protected by the Constitution. We should call the wrong by its name, and indeed the world should know that Honorable Paul Simbarati is in office precisely by the election of the people of Kisii County, and is here to serve the people and cannot be intimidated by any level of security that can be brought here, including the military if they want to bring them. So I want to second the motion.
Thank you, honorable members. I now propose a question which is that this House adjourned to discuss a matter of urgent county importance. But before I allow debate, because now it is time that I should allow for debate, but I should bring to the attention of honorable members standing order that subsection 4, and I read, no member speaking on a matter under the standing order shall speak for more than 5 minutes without the leave of the county assembly, except the mover may speak for 10 minutes. Honorable member, if I give you time to speak and you exceed 5 minutes, I will put you off. Be warned and be advised. Thank you. I can allow now for debate. Honorable Otachi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand to support this motion by my good friend, Honorable James Ondari. Indeed, yesterday we were shocked to see a battalion of GSU officers at the stadium where the office of the governor is. Actually, last week on social media platforms, we had a comment from one of our senior person in this county, actually a member of parliament from South Mogrango, writing that there will be all categories of police in Kisii as from next week. And actually it did happen. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that there are people in this county who want to delay development from our county because they thought by closing the office of the governor, maybe people won't get development from it. And I want to castigate this thing and say that the police officers in this country are supposed to protect people. The GSU have a mandate to do. For example, now the bandits in this country who are uncontrolled in this country, but they cannot go there. They only came to harm innocent people at the stadium. For example, as my good friend has said, Honorable James Ondari, there's a student who was doing Ajiri. There's a course in the stadium called Ajiri. This student was pregnant, and the GSU officers actually mishandled the student, and she miscarried. It's not something that we need to welcome, and as a county, we need to condemn this thing. The police should stick to their lane and stop being misused by politicians in this country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Bale. Put it off.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute. First, I wish to welcome honorable members from the short recess. To start with, I wish to thank whoever ordered the presence of police in Kisii, because Kisii had become ungovernable. The venue we are talking about, the stadium, we have had serious issues at the stadium, even during Shabana games. We've had people being assaulted at the stadium. Case in hand, Honorable Nyambega Gisesa was assaulted at the stadium. Honorable, relax.
Order.
Honorable Speaker, protect me from the
Disobey views. Let everybody express his views, and we move forward.
Secondly,
Honorable members.
Secondly, Honorable Speaker.
Just a moment, Honorable Bale.
Thank you.
Just have a seat. Honorable members, get informed that this is house of respect. Issues of Filimbi, kindly on this time, be warned, and I warn you in advance. If you have your views, you will be given your time to speak, you express it, like Honorable Bale is doing, and that is it. And even the parliamentary procedures, clapping is not by hands, it is by legs. Be informed. Let me tell you, honorable members, because this time I will not allow this way of conducting our business. Just do it by your legs, and we proceed. Honorable Obade, proceed. Obade, proceed, Honorable Obade.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you for reminding honorable members that this is a house of debate. This is a house where we use reason, not our strength, not our shouting, but we use logic to express ourselves. As I was saying, Honorable Speaker, the last few days, you've seen even the issues of border clashes.
Point of inquiry, Achila.
Mr. Speaker, I want to inquire if we are allowed to take videos when a member of the County Assembly is contributing in the chambers.
Kindly tell me who is taking the videos. Honorable Vetina, as I have said, because I will not allow this, and indeed, if it will be confirmed with me by a listen of town that you have been taking the video, the consequences are there. So, and Honorable Ismail, it is the speaker speaking, and if Honorable Ismail, if I confirm from the Assad that you are taking the video, you will be expelled for 3 sittings from this house. Proceed. So Sergeant Adam, assist me to look around and get the behaviors of honorable members which is not acceptable in this house. Honorable Mali, proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We should not even belabor the point of taking videos because this thing is at live.
Proceed, Honorable Mali.
As I proceed, I was saying from the onset, I wanted to thank whoever sent the police to Kisii and whoever who ordered the operation. Since the arrival of the GSU in this town, we've had a lot of peace. Even the border sector looks organized. We can move through this town without fear. We have, for instance, our brother, Honorable Arege, Director Arege. I've not heard any of these members complaining about the presence of GSU. Castigate that we have had great issues of insecurity within the town of Kisii. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that it's only the guilty who will be afraid of the presence of police officers in Kisii County. The police are there to provide security.
Honorable Vale, I don't know if I have an honorable member called Honorable Lege. Is it an honorable member?
Arege, I've said, is a director who was attacked.
Okay.
To substantiate my claims of the insecurity within Kisii County. So we will not be here comfortable castigating the presence of police officers within Kisii if we do not have anything we are hiding. We want to thank the national government for supporting Kisii County and by sending those police officers to ensure that Kisii County is secure. And I ask them to continue being in Kisii so that there will be order. Thank you.
Adjournment.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this chance. Let me use English so that I may not be mistaken. Honorable Speaker, I stand to support this motion and to bring the attention of some honorable members who may be young, who may not be knowing how this GSU police company came up. Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Richmond, I don't have young members here. I have honorable members.
Okay, I will do that, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I didn't really mean young, but I meant young in terms of age more than me. Less my age. For those of us, Honorable Speaker, who have been there for decades, we can as well state that the GSU officers came up to quell some political unrest, especially from the central Kenya, back 1948. Honorable Speaker, this for the GSU to be deployed, especially for those who saw, or rather who were there in the 1990s during the uprising of the multi-party democracy in the Republic of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, when you heard the formation of multi-parties in the early 90s, Honorable Speaker, there was some political unrest in the country. And these GSU officers were deployed everywhere where were the unrest. It's unfortunate, Honorable Speaker, that some of the honorable members may be taking this thing of the deployment of GSU officers as something which is obvious. Honorable Speaker, the GSU officers, especially when I remember during the 1990s, during the 1992 election, Honorable Speaker, I feel like crying. Because, Honorable Speaker, the GSU officers, when they were deployed, especially the Rift Valley, especially the model clashes, Honorable Speaker, people died. Honorable Speaker, it's very unfortunate that an honorable member can stand and support this. We need to have the minutes from the cabinet who approves where the GSU officers are sent. Honorable Speaker, you have been witnessing what has been happening in the North Rift of Kenya, or rather Northeastern. Honorable Speaker, right now even in Lamu, there is a serious problem. The GSU officers are just a backup of the police officers. It means if you bring the GSU officers, we don't have to have the police officers around. We withdraw them. We bring the GSU officers. There's nothing, Honorable Speaker, that's uncontrollable. The political situation in the county is not uncontrollable. Honorable Speaker, there are some cartels, Honorable Speaker, who are bringing up the issues of unrest through the borders. This, Honorable Speaker, which is making to query, and Honorable Speaker, whoever is against this, Honorable Speaker, is somebody who has been working around the clock to bring unrest. We know, Honorable Speaker, there are some things which have been on social media. And the same people who may stand here to support this, Honorable Speaker, are the same people who have been regrouping to bring unrest to our young people. Honorable Speaker, when our governor launched the border circle, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker, when the circle was launched, it was launched to help the young people. The President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Speaker, was heard during the campaign time saying that he wants to assist the young borders, the hustlers. Now, it's very unfortunate that some people sit here and pretend to be supporting the young hustlers while you are killing them.
Few seconds.
Honorable Speaker, I really want every honorable member who is here to read the history of this Republic of Kenya, Honorable Speaker, before you stand and support this. Honorable Speaker, with due respect, I condemn this, and in the near future, we need to have approval from the cabinet so that the GSU officers can be brought here, Honorable Speaker. I rest my case and I support.
Honorable members, once more, I want to remind you, this is not a motion of argument, it is a motion of expressing yourself. Yes, Ismail.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Ni mzuri. Nilikuwa nataka kupinga hii sikuje kwa sababu maneno ya usalama ni pande ya national government, lakini kwa sababu uliruhusu, wacha tuongee. Na ninataka tu ku limit myself kwa hiyo maneno hiyo mufile motion ni nani alimufu Mheshimiwa Ondari kwamba ni nini polisi aina ya jeshi wameletwa hapa Kisii. And nataka iwekwe chini na hata watu wa waandishi wa habari wako hapa. Hapo bereni katika mji wetu wa Kisii kumekuwa na visa vya utovu wa usalama. Makundi mawili wakipigana vijana hapa, hatukujua ni akina nani, mpaka kuna kijana mmoja aliuawa kwa sababu ya hiyo vita. Pia ujambazi imekuwa juu sana. Watu huko kwangu, watu walipigwa marisasi. Chusi hapa pande ya Keroka, watu wanakuja, wanaua watu. Na hiyo imelete ile wasiwasi kwa wananchi. Watu wanawawa, wanatupwa, watu wanawawa bila kujua ni akina nani walikuwa wanafanya hiyo. Sasa juzi last week governor wa Kisii County mwenyewe katika stadium akiwa na vijana aina ya vijana 10,000 waandishi wa habari walikuwa huko, alizungumzia hiyo maneno, akaambia Kindiki eti polisi wanahusika katika maneno ya uwizi, akaambia county commander, akaambia na county commissioner wafanye kitu. Leo hii wakati ni governor aliitisha waandishi wa habari wako, ni governor aliitisha akiwa Kisii, it was on Tuesday kwa TV, akasema askari ndio wezi, ndio wanapeana mabunduki sao, uhalifu unaendelea, wako hawafanyi chochote. Na ile kitengo ilikuja inaitwa special ya DCI, wao na GSU peke yao, wao ndio wanaruhusiwa kushika polisi wa kawaida. Polisi mwenzake hawezi shika mwenzake. Special unit ile ilikuja, mnaona hapa, ndio tu inachunguza hawa mapolisi. Kwa hivyo hawa majeshi wamekuja, na aliambia Kindiki, gavana mwenyewe Simbarati akiwa stadium mahali aliongelelea hiyo, ndio hiyo chesi hiyo ndio aenda huko kwa stadium. Gavana ameitisha kuna askari wetu, ndipo sababu hao chesi wako hapa. Na mimi kama mheshimiwa, na mimi dakika moja, na mimi kama mheshimiwa dakika moja, your excellency, hata watu wa magazeti wanaona, na mimi kama mheshimiwa nikiona polisi, nikiona jeshi, najua kuna usalama. Kwa hivyo na maneno ya usalama tusilete hapa. Kwa assembly wacha tuongee maneno ya matawa, wacha tuongee maneno ya matawa, tuongee maneno ya barabara, tuongee maneno ya budget, pesa ya account ya assembly irudi national government. Tufanyie watu wetu kazi. Tuachane na maneno ya msalaba.
Honorable Ishmael. Order. Honorable members, I don't stand here joking as the speaker. Let us be out of order. And when I have given your time, sergeants, have your seats. When I have given your time, don't make it as if we are in a football. Honorable members, order. Let me remind you, order, standing order, 99. Whenever the speaker or the chairperson of a committee licenses any member then speaking or offering to speak shall resume his or her seat. That is our standing order. Honourable members, we agree this is an issue in our county, contributed sobriety. Time for discussing development. You are here for 5 years. We are here, but for now, stick to the motion which has come to this house. Honorable Ondari. Ondari.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I've stood on a point of information. Honorable Member, I was trying to inform Honorable Member Ismail. The Constitution is very clear. Which department is allowed by the Constitution to investigate the only institution which is allowed to investigate is the police department, and also that is the DCI, and the DCI, that is the DCC, and also the anti-corruption. So the issue of saying GSU is has come in to investigate something that is in order, that is not in order. You are just misreading the. Yes, that's what I'm saying. That you said GSU, and that is I'm trying to inform you. GSU is not allowed to investigate.
Order.
It's not a department to investigate.
Honorable Ondari, order.
Be informed.
Honorable members, kindly don't make me to apply standing order 104, where an honorable member creates disorder in the house. No, honorable leader. I am the speaker. He's even sitting in the floor. So he may have his own problem. So, honorable members, Honorable Sioja, point of order. No, it's okay. So. Proceed.
It's not working.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Order.
It's unfortunate that this House is standing to lose its honorable title, because the manner in which honorable members are conducting themselves in this assembly is not something appealing. And Mr. Speaker, I want to put you to task, because the disrespect that has just begun is not just something that you can wish off, because the standing orders are very clear that when the Speaker stands, every member of the assembly should freeze and resume his seat.
There is no way, Mr. Speaker, you can just sit there and then look around Honorable Ishmael, moving around and reiterating, and then you are on the feet, Mr. Speaker. This is a precedence you are setting, and that simply means that these honorable members will just not be there to disrespect you, or else they will just continue disrespecting you if you cannot enforce and ensure the standing orders are implemented under your watch. And finally, Mr. Speaker, it is not in order for the honorable members, for the honorable member Ismail to purport and say that a unit of the police has just come, unless they have been sent here to investigate another group, which are their colleagues, because we know the investigating agencies and we know the police works. What that we saw yesterday at the stadium, Mr. Speaker, is something that does not overwhelm with us, because if there is insecurity in the rest, if there is any insecurity in this county, the insecurity is not at the office of the governor. So what were the police doing at the office of the governor, instead of going and getting those perpetrators whom they think that they are the ones maybe creating insecurities around here? Mr. Speaker, enforce the standing orders, and any member who disrespects them, let him be sent home.
Honorable Cullen.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Before I speak, what I want to say is to plead with this Honorable House that this is truly an Honorable House, and that when we are speaking and contributing, let us have respect for one another. I may not be speaking what you want to hear, but I need to speak anyway. So kindly, let us accommodate each other. Honorable Speaker, the object of Chapter 11 of the Constitution about devolution speaks and clearly separates two separate governments. We have a national government, we have a county government. The Bill of Rights in the Constitution also speaks out to the right of information. I am not informed that Kisii County, we are in Pokot. We are not in Kapedo. The demonstration of the GSU in the county simply gives an illustration that their security apparatus in the county have failed. I don't know, because literally what we are speaking when we see the GSU in the county, we are trying to portray our county that we have become ungovernable. I am not sure, as this Honorable House, whether this is what we want other people to know about Kisii County. We truly understand that we have a government in place. And when we have a government in place, there are structures that are in place that must be exploited before we go to other levels. Remember, Kisii County is a county that are always, when people speak about the county of Kisii, they are talking about peace. And when we are trying to demonstrate and demonize our county that we have become ungovernable, I'm not sure whether that is how we want the assembly, the people of Kisii, to understand that we have really come ungovernable. I'm not sure whether that is where we want to go, honorable members. I want to speak to those who are in leadership positions and those that feel that they have more powers than others. We have a county to protect. I am not saying that because I want guns or insecurity to rise, but are we really exploited our own avenues instead of bringing in the GSU? These are some of the questions that honorable members I want us to ask ourselves. Let leaders respect other leaders. Let us not try to demonstrate that you have more powers than others. Everybody, our roles are cut out. I am an MCA. I can't be a member of parliament. Excuse me. I can't be governor of the county. We have a governor in this county. And if there are issues that need to be discussed, we should not just assume. And I want to ask, and let us be objective and sober. Which image do we want people to, when they look at you as your friend Kisii, which image do you want them to see in you? I am requesting, this is a very emotive issue, and let us not smile because you feel so-and-so is doing very well. We have a country to protect, we have a governor. If he has failed, then there are issues, there are structures, we have a constitution that clearly stipulates what happens when this one has failed. I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that we are not doing very well as a county, and let us not be very happy on these issues when they come to the media that Kisii County now is under the GSU. It is not a good example. So let us respect those who are in leadership, and I have said, and I am going to say, repeat it again, we have a right to information. If our account has failed, if the governor has failed, let them bring him here. First of all, we discuss it. But don't start celebrating by bringing GSU to Kisii.
5 seconds.
We have people who are vulnerable, and we need to respect each other, even as you look like you have more powers than others. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Lead the minority. Sorry, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank you, my uncle, Honorable James Mawao for the motion. And Mr. Speaker, it is true that we need to discuss matters of county importance, and the Kisii County is a very important component of that discussion, Mr. Speaker. How I wish that this discussion we are having, we could have had it in Akamkunji first before we come. Because clearly, as you can see, Mr. Speaker, the House is not speaking from one voice. It means that there are issues that as leaders, we do not want to bury our head on the sand, and we need to address them. Number two, Mr. Speaker, I want to draw the attention of the House to the following articles of the Constitution. Number one is Article 176, which creates the county assemblies with clear mandate on what we are supposed to do, Mr. Speaker. That our role is to legislate, it's to oversight, and also to represent. Mr. Speaker, also Article 180 also provides us on how we are supposed to relate the county governments and the county assembly. And Mr. Speaker, my concern as a national of Kisii County, and I want to draw the attention of the members, is that what starts slowly like this can degenerate into making Kisii County ungovernable. And Mr. Speaker, it gives the president powers either to take over, like they did in Nairobi, or to dissolve the county. Those are matters that we need to look at as a county assembly, as leaders under Article 176, who have been given the mandate to represent and to protect. Mr. Speaker, there is a reason why the county assembly is created ahead of the executive. It's because we are the one to oversight the executive. And Mr. Speaker, our mandate is very clear. First, ours is to protect, like the Senate, the county of Kisii. So my urge, and I discussed it informally with the leader of majority, is that our House, we need to sit down, Mr. Speaker, and discuss, because there are issues clearly that we need to address as leaders of this county. Because one thing I can say here, without any fear of contradiction, there's nobody who has monopoly of violence. That I can say. And it's true in this county of ours, for the number of days we are having violence coming in. Kisii, like Honorable Karen said, is known as a peaceful county. We need to nurture that. So for me, I will never wish even my enemy violence, because it's not a gentleman way to do things. So, Mr. Speaker, yes, we have a motion of county importance. Yes, the issues of the GSU, but also, yes, Mr. Speaker, there are issues we need to address as leaders of Kisii County. Thank you. I rest my case.
Achila. Then the Honorable, let Achila finish first.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I could also request my fellow member of County Assembly, let us debate this motion with calmness, because we are elected as representatives of the people. Because what happened, people are waiting for answers from us. They want to understand what is happening in the county, because we are the leaders representing them. So we need to tone down so that we can discuss this issue and know what is happening, so that our people can understand what is happening in the country. Mr. Speaker, I'm elected under Kenya Kwanza government, and as one of the elected leaders, we must condemn the approach which the national security used to send the GSU to Kisii people, because the approach was unprofessional, unethical, this is improper, it is unscrupulous and dishonorable to the people of Kisii County. We must condemn it, because I'm ashamed of what happened yesterday. Kisii people are peace-loving citizens, and people are worried what was taking place yesterday and what is going to take place the day after yesterday or going forward. We must demand an explanation from the Minister in charge of Interior of what was happening, and we must get an answer as a county, because we are leaders who are elected. If there was an issue of violence or unruly in the county, as leaders we must be notified, or we must be aware of what was happening, and if the GSU were coming, because if our people were being tortured by the GSU officers, because we know their work is to deal with banditries, does it mean that we have criminals in Kisii? Criminals we know are found in those areas, Rift Valley, northeastern, like Kapedo, Boni Forest. That is where GSU are supposed to be placed, not in Kisii County. People who love their farming activities to produce food for the people of the country. Mr. Speaker, let's get out the statement from the national government, and let me request my fellow leaders, let us leave the culture of pride. Chest thumping cannot help us. Arrogance cannot take us anywhere. I rest my case.
Honorable Sam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this chance as well. From the onset, I'm so shocked on what happened yesterday. When some honorable members are saying that which happened was good, I condemn it with the highest order. Remember, the GSU, all the police force, they follow orders. They don't act by themselves. So they must have been sent by somebody we don't know. So please, and I'm very sure that there was no disorder in the stadium. When very early in the morning, around 8, when you ask them and they say they came to rest, is there a place to rest in the stadium? What had they done so that they could come and rest in the stadium? Anyway, there must be somebody behind this movement. This is a politically motivated issue, and for sure we want to demand and understand what's going on. As much as you have differences with maybe the governor, I don't think this is the time that you should stand up and say, oh, that is very good. What happened was very good. That was not good at all. And therefore, I support all the honorable members who are castigating this issue which happened yesterday, and we are not going to allow this to happen. And if there is an honorable member somewhere who thinks that by doing so he will amass followers here in Kisii County, I don't think that will happen. I rest my case.
I think, let me be fair. Honorable Buhari, I don't want you to just speak and
Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak, because of late, Mr. Speaker, speaking in this house is more like a gold opportunity. But Mr. Speaker, one thing I would bring to your attention is, in this house, which is a parliament, there is always a side that has to oppose and a side that will propose. The majority will have their way. But Mr. Speaker, I plead with you that every time the minority need their say, just give us a chance to put our say on it. We are not fighting, we are just debating.
You have your chance, use it because of your time.
I have my 5 minutes, and Mr. Speaker, I put a stopwatch to ensure that I work within my 5 minutes. Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, I'll want to inform this House, through you, Mr. Speaker, that there are functions after devolution that were left in the national government and functions that were left for the county government. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Interior is under the national government, and sometimes they are wise enough to understand how to run their ministry very well and ensure the places where we have security issues and the places we don't have security issues. So once, I think the reason as to why we have the security people in Kisii, there must be something behind it, Mr. Speaker. And because we are not the DCI, we are not involved in terms of security, we just sit down and relax and wait for them to do their investigations and find their answers. And if there are any security issues, they make their arrest, they bring peace and order in Kisii County. Mr. Speaker, I want to bring to the attention of this House that we really have a problem of security in Kisii County, even as the honorable members are trying to run away from it. Not long ago in this House, we spoke about our security issues. We spoke about people leading a gang of criminals, Mr. Speaker, whereby one of the honorable members in this House said, Buhari is leading a gang of criminals, Mr. Speaker. It is in the Hansard, Mr. Speaker. And we should not be worried, because these security people could be here investigating Buhari and the gang of criminals that she is leading, Mr. Speaker, because it is there, it was said in this House, Mr. Speaker. So therefore, Mr. Speaker, I support that it is good that we have our security people so that we bring Kisii back to order. Mr. Speaker, I still have my 2 minutes, Mr. Speaker, because I told you my stopwatch is on. Mr. Speaker, we have had issues in Kisii County that I have not seen any honorable member raise here. Like the issue of one of the directors, Director Arege. He was attacked in his house in front of his wife. His wife was mishandled in his presence by goons, Mr. Speaker. It was reported, yes. We have not spoken about it here, Mr. Speaker, but these cases are out here. We've had boda people clash left, right, and center, Mr. Speaker. So we, yes, have security issues in Kisii County that need to be handled, Mr. Speaker. And yes, if it has not gotten to all our honorable members, it has gotten to our people back there. We have our business people in town, Mr. Speaker. Yes, Mr. Speaker, I told you I have my stopwatch on. I have 1 minute and 42 seconds.
It's not you have to allocate time.
Oh, you told us 5 minutes, Mr. Speaker. Kindly allow me raise my last point.
Just a few seconds.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Finally, Mr. Speaker, we have seen our governor of Kisii County requesting for the security to come in, meaning he has seen a problem. We have also seen him, Mr. Speaker, say that he has a team that can flee even the GSU, Mr. Speaker, in public, and it's on record, Mr. Speaker. So therefore, let the police and the security do their job, and everyone is not above the law. So even the governor might be investigated. Why will be investigated?
Thank you. Honourable members, let me remind you, the standing, honourable members, let me remind you the standing orders, and I read it. No member should speak for more than it can be even 1 minute. Honorable Mutume. It is not 5 minutes, the standing order is very clear. It is the speaker to regulate the timing. Honorable Mutume.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity also to weigh in on this matter that is of county importance. Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, I must say I strongly condemn the presence of the GSU officers at the governor's as the governor's office, which is temporarily domiciled at the stadium. Mr. Speaker, why I'm concerned as an elected member of the County Assembly is because the office of the governor is not an office that is a pushover. And a governor in the county is a symbol of the county unity. And I understand that the governor's security details were withdrawn several weeks ago. So the presence of the GSU officers in his office, they do not only cast aspersions of what is happening, but also, if not handled properly, they can degenerate actually into chaos. Because the members of the public, they are aware that their governor has no security from the national government. And when we have the GSU officers who are actually supposed to be utilized in parts of this country where security is a challenge, coming to the governor's residence without any proper explanation, honestly, Mr. Speaker, as leaders, we have to be concerned. Equally, Mr. Speaker, we saw that there was a session, a training session going on at the stadium, the archery center, which is here to train our local youth to have jobs online, where they were, chased away, and we have been told that one student miscarried in the process. This is not a good show. This is not something that we can celebrate about. It is something which is wrong, and as leaders, we have to condemn, Mr. Speaker. As you also know, we have a school that is adjacent to the stadium. Remember, if chaos could have erupted there, the national examinations are going on. We have schools around this county. In Kisii alone, we have more than 5 schools. If the people came there and started chaos, what could have happened to those learners who are sitting the examinations? We could have disrupted the program. So even as we raise concerns over the governor's safety, over the interference from the national government, we also need clarity. If there is anything that the national government is investigating in Kisii County, at individual level or at departmental level, they have agencies that can come in and do their job properly. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I appeal to the national government again that as much as we have the resources in terms of personnel, security personnel, this kind of misuse of uniformed officers should not be acceptable, Mr. Speaker. We have seen Kenyans in Turkana, in Kapedo, people are struggling even to access basic needs because of insecurity, Mr. Speaker. Why bring GSU officers at the stadium where innovations are ongoing, where people are very peaceful, when we have issues to deal with? This national government is failing on its mandate, Mr. Speaker. The same energy they use to blackmail and intimidate politicians, they should use to lower the cost of living that's affecting the many Kenyans that we have. Mr. Speaker, sir, going forward, I appeal, Mr. Speaker, finally, I appeal also with our members of the County Assembly, Mr. Speaker, that an attack to the office of the governor is an attack to the people of Kisii County, because he's the leader and the sign of unity in this county. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members use the right way of clapping. Let me be fair to Honorable Michael, because Honorable Michael don't see, and I may select Honorable Michael. It is your time. Let Honorable Michael finish first.
This way. Okay. Thank you, Speaker, for the opportunity. And I also want to rise up to support this very important motion by the Honorable Ndari pertaining the security that was a bit threatened yesterday in our county. Honorable Speaker, yes, indeed, yesterday was a sad day because, Kisii County is a very productive county, and people woke up knowing that they are going to do what it takes to build the economy, only to be told that there is security threat in our county. Honorable Speaker, I want to start by saying that I condemn it with all the strength in my disability, for reasons being that we have not seen reasons as to why the GSU officers can surround the stadium. And if they want to say that they came to rest, what have they done that they were tired to come and rest? Secondly, can you rest at the entrance of His Excellency the Governor's office? What are you doing there? Honorable Speaker, we need these people. Yes, they are uniformed. They help us in bring about peace. But they must understand that they are more required in Baringo than they are required in the stadium, because we know that Baringo has security issues. If they need to rest anywhere, let them rest near Baringo, but not in the stadium. Honorable Speaker, Kenyans, whereby Kisii County is one of them, we went to the polls on the 9th of August 2022 and elected 6 elected positions: President, Governor, Senator, Women Rep, MP, and MCS. Everybody must know what he or she was elected to do. The coverage must be well understood. If you are a president, you know what to do. A governor knows, and even MCS knows. So don't do what is not meant for you. Do your coverage, and as we speak, His Excellency the Governor, Paul Simbarati, was elected by over 270,000 voters, meaning that people have got confidence in him, and he is there, he is in charge, and he is in control. Any efforts that you are going to scare the Excellency Governor, we are telling you, there is nothing that is going to see the light of the day, and if there is an impeachment motion, bring it on, baby, we will tear it apart. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Amos, then Honorable Amos chair, but first Honorable Amos the other side.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the chance. First, I want to take this opportunity to welcome each and every member back to the Assembly. Secondly, I want to take this opportunity to welcome the move by the national government to send the police to Kisii County. And these are my reasons. I've heard several speakers condemn the incident, basing on the fact that there were no violence at the Assembly. But I want to clarify one thing. The work of the GSU is not only on preventing violence. I was reading on the website of the Kenya Police, and they are saying one of the functions of the GSU is to protect vital installations in the country. Looking at the Kisii Stadium, that is one of the vital installations in our country, and the reason could be they came to protect it. So it's wrong to say that they came because of violence. But still on that, I want to say one thing. Kisii Stadium is a public space. And as other speakers have mentioned, we've had issues of violence around that space. The recent being the incident with Shabana. Several people have been attacked at the stadium. And
Order. Let him finish.
Mr. Speaker, I'm speaking. Protect
Just proceed.
Honorable Richmond.
You are well protected.
Mr. Speaker, last week I had an incident. One of my border guys came to me complaining that after the launch of the circle at the stadium, they were being threatened here in town. Because they're coming from Nyatego, they were being told they're not supposed to enter Kisii municipality without the reflectors. This issue emanated from the stadium. So I see a lot of justification as to why the police decided now to go to the stadium, because that was the source of all this. I want to finish by saying this, Mr. Speaker. As an honorable member, my role is beyond the police, and nobody here has a right to demand the reason why police came to Kisii County. This is my reason, Mr. Speaker. As a devolution unit, Mr. Speaker, our roles are cut, and national security is not part of our roles. We have no mandate to direct the police where they need to protect, where they need to go to. So I feel this is an infringement of the national government role. Let's focus on our role as the county government. Let's do our core duties as the county government. And if police decide to do whatever they decide to do, let's give them time to do their work.
Thank you.
And let me finish my point, Mr. Speaker.
1 second.
Yes, one second is so little, Mr.
Continue.
Speaker.
1 second. Continue.
Okay. So my point is, Speaker, let the member of the county assembly focus on their core duties. That is oversight of the executive, the county executive. They're not supposed to oversight the national government. Let's focus on legislation.
Yes, Honorable Monderi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to also weigh in to what my colleagues have been able to say regarding the incident of yesterday. And Honorable Speaker, Standing Order number 30, paragraph 1 to paragraph 4, which brings matters to the floor of the House on county pointers that Honorable James Ondari did invoke, is a very important standing order. Honorable Speaker, that standing order gives us an opportunity to ventilate on what we think is critical and important in this county. Honorable Speaker, therefore, I don't see anything much with that standing order Honorable Ondari did raise. It has given us an opportunity to be able to ventilate a number of issues. Honorable Speaker, I want to begin from where the leader of minority stopped, the Honorable Dennis Siombach. Honorable Speaker, but before I do so, I was going through the responsibilities and roles of the General Service Unit. And if you allow me, I will be able to enumerate a few of them. Part of the work for GSU is to provide security to His Excellency the President and the State Lodges, Honorable Speaker, and that we have seen it quite often. And Honorable Speaker, is what Honorable Amos Mukaya did mention, providing security to vital installations, including strategic points. But Honorable Speaker, for me, the point I want to make my contribution is the fourth responsibility of GSU is controlling rioters, mobs, and civil disturbance, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Dennis Ombachi did mention there are a number of times that my other colleagues have did mention, but the truth of the matter is that we live in this county. And for the last about 3 weeks, Honorable Speaker, there has been a lot of public debate regarding insecurity in this county, Honorable Speaker. That debate has been generated by the governor. That debate has been generated by the members of county assembly. That debate has been generated by the members of the public. The truth has been, and that is why at some point, Honorable Speaker, you saw even prior to the stadium issue, there were GSU behind your office, Honorable Speaker, and some of the building behind here was actually being ranked as a scene of crime, Honorable Speaker. So this issue about GSU has not started yesterday. But the truth of the matter for people who want to be honest to themselves is that there has been issues in this county in terms of security, and those issues have been amplified by different stakeholders that we have in this county, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Dennis Ombachi did mention, and I want to reiterate that statement, that in this country, there is nobody who has the monopoly of violence, Honorable Speaker. And I guess that is why there exists the standing role, the role of GSU in terms of rioters and mobs. Honorable Speaker, I am having a bit of information that prior to yesterday, his presence of the police, they had been conversing, because there's been discussions in this county that there were supposed to be demonstrations in this town. And I want to guess, and I do not have the authority of those statements, but I'm saying what was being alluded is that there was going to be demonstrations in this town, Honorable Speaker. And it could be part of the reason why the GSU people who are within this were actually to control, as it is mandated for in the function I said of controlling rioters and civil disturbance, Honorable Speaker. But Honorable Speaker, allow me make this point. I want to agree with Honorable Dennis Ombachi. We have reached a time in this county that we actually need an honest and candid conversation. Honorable Speaker, this county is 85 leaders who are elected. Those 85 leaders comprises of 71 members of the county assembly. It has the senator, it has the governor, it has the women rep, it has the deputy governor, and it has the speaker, yourself, Honorable Speaker. Then it has the 9 members of parliament. That in totality is 85 members, Honorable Speaker. I want to see a time when His Excellency, being at the helm of the leadership of this county, can be able to convene a meeting of the 85 leaders of this county so that we begin to ventilate and deliberate on very important issues. Honorable Speaker, I will not be happy as a leader to actually see these issues, of police here, police there, whatever, on issues we can be able to sit down and converse. Even the leaders who have made their points here will agree with me that we actually need a conversation, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker.
Let him finish 8 seconds.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, that conversation is for good of all of us. It's good for all of us so that we see and we agree with what Honorable Karen Magara was saying. We want to see a county that will be able to soldier forward jointly so that we can be able to deliver to the people who are elected as Honorable Speaker. And I want to hand my contribution there and say, Honorable Speaker, that this is a very good motion. It has given us an opportunity to all of us make a contribution.
Honorable Mwamba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to air my views concerning the motion which is on the floor. I think, Honorable Speaker, all the members of this assembly, they knew that while I was away, 2 things happened in this county. I've been away for some time, and I know members are aware about it. If you are not aware, Mr. Speaker, 2 important things happened in this county while I was away. 1, there was GSU manpower in Kisii County for the last 1 week. 2, the Kisii County Assembly members were divided. Those are the 2 things which has happened in this county while I was away, Mr. Speaker. To get these matters contained, Mr. Speaker, we need a total discussion. We need a total conversation, Mr. Speaker. I urge you, Mr. Speaker, under your powers, before we spill all the waters in this house, we need your powers as a speaker to bring the house in order. Meanwhile, when I was seated here, Mr. Speaker, my point number 2 has been on action. I've seen some members raising their hands 20 to 25 times without being given time to speak. That's point number 2, which I said the house is divided. Point number 1 has already been seen by even everybody outside there. GSU were all over. I ask you, Mr. Speaker, this is not a small matter to have on. People are laughing here and there, thinking that we are in a memory of going for a wedding or we are doing something good. Mr. Speaker, I'm not accusing anybody, Mr. Speaker. Let me lay my point like this. When we have GSU in our county, we don't take it for granted. There is a big issue. There is a light in the tunnel which is coming. That's why I'm watching you, Mr. Speaker. We sit down as the people, we see the problem and we deliberate it. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, when the national government is doing its mandate, it doesn't mean that it's doing to our Kisii County. We have our governor, we have members elected. We were to be involved as members of Kisii County Assembly to know that there is a problem here of GSU. How can we work on it? But when we were not involved, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I want you to protect me from laymen.
Honorable members, order.
Mr. Speaker, let me raise my point.
Order.
Let me finish my point.
Just seated. Order. Get seated, your honorable member. Order. Buhari, order. Ismail, order. Honorable members, order. Honorable member, where you were away, you could have asked the person you left to tell you what was happening. But Honorable member, I want to inform you that the conducive environment that I have given this house, that's where we're discussing these issues. There is no any environment I would offer as the speaker for honorable members to discuss apart from this house. The Kamukunjis is for our own issues. So if you have anything you need to bring out, and I am up the media is here, bring it here. I don't have any other space as the speaker. No, we are not finishing. Standing order number 83, honorable members, standing order number 83, subsection 3, and I want to read. It is that it be out of order to use offensive languages. Order. So, honorable members, I agree, and everybody is free. This is a house of respect. If you feel that you were properly placed, support it. Say it is proper like Gomala has done it, like you has done it. If it is wrong, say it is wrong. It is not about fighting. Why are you arguing over something you need to stand and express? Omwamba, I cannot give 10 people time at all. Time allocation is the responsibility of the speaker. Honorable leader.
Thank you, Speaker, for also allowing me to contribute to this motion put by my good friend, Honorable Ndari. Mr. Speaker, I first stand to condemn the incident that took place yesterday, Mr. Speaker, with the highest spirit in my body, Mr. Speaker, and all my body organs. Mr. Speaker, the GSU who are in the stadium, Mr. Speaker, to block the governor from entering his office, Mr. Speaker, is not right. Mr. Speaker, we had a honorable member, a MP of this county, by the name Honorable Silvanus Osoro, speak, Mr. Speaker, on social media that, and posted himself on Egetureri, these social medias, that on Monday, we will have security officers, different security officers, and Mr. Speaker, it came to pass. And it came to pass. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to be informed by Honorable Buhari. She doesn't have any content.
Proceed. No, Honorable Buhari, just relax. Proceed. I have
Honorable Speaker,
proceed, Honorable Leader.
Mr. Speaker,
Sergeant Adam, it's almost time to start doing your work. Honorable Leader, proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I've had members asking me, shouting that I've mentioned a member, Governor Simbarati has been mentioned in this assembly, and he is not a member of this assembly. And the one member here who mentioned is Ishmael Matundura.
Proceed.
And he has been working with this. Mr. Speaker, there are honorable members who wants to take us for granted. Mere MPs that they want to impeach governor. We dare you. No. Bring it on.
No.
We will deal with you.
Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I proceed by
proceed. And finish, I am giving you your time. Finish.
Mr. Speaker, we've been also having...
Sorry, which is standing order, Buhari? Lead it. Lead it, the standing order. Yes, read it, the standing order.
Mr. Speaker, I'll use standing order number 1, which allows anyone to contribute as a member, Mr. Speaker. On my teachings on the standing order.
Order. Honorable Fanis, I will send you out. Order. Honorable Buhari, I am not here choking. No, I don't want you to read. I am not here choking. So, honorable members, leader majority, proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable members should know the county importance issues and the pending issues, Mr. Speaker, and the bedroom issues in this assembly. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Buhari here, she's having a ball.
Proceed.
She has not talked of somebody who miscarried in the family yesterday. She has not played about somebody who miscarried. We're not getting issues here. Getting issues out of order.
Leader, I will test you out. Order. The man Honorable Damaris, I am sending you out, Honorable Damaris. Order. Honorable Rita, I don't know which borough you mean, but there is no balls here. So, honorable members, order. Honorable Mulacha, leader of majority, can you withdraw your statement kindly about the ball? Just withdraw it. Let him withdraw first. Yes, Honorable. That's with
Mr. Speaker, I don't know if they knew the ball I meant. I don't know if they knew the ball I meant. I meant a ball gun. I meant a ball gun. I meant a ball gun, and I'm not withdrawing. And Mr. Speaker, I hereby say that the GSU issues should not be allowed in this house. And we ask the CS Interior to give a statement on how, Mr. Speaker, why they were here. I stand guided, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Ndari. The move of the motion. The reader of the move of the motion, yes.
Mr. Speaker, I'm standing on standing order number 28. And Mr. Speaker, the reason why I'm standing on that standing order, we have been having a recess, Mr. Speaker.
Yes,
Mr. Speaker, we have been having a recess. And I know during the recess, Mr. Speaker, sectorial committees went out, Mr. Speaker, and they have reports, and I know they want to bring the reports. Mr. Speaker, because this is the first day we have come from recess, Mr. Speaker, I'm happy because the House is lively. We are discussing, Mr. Speaker. But I wanted to seek the leave of the House, Mr. Speaker, that a member may at any time for reasons stated seek leave to move that this county assembly do now adjourn. Mr. Speaker, I'm requesting that this House adjourns so that as you instructed the chairman of committees, Mr. Speaker, they can go and prepare to bring reports, Mr. Speaker, so that we can discuss all these matters of county importance, all these matters, Mr. Speaker, of development and others, Mr. Speaker, so that they can discuss. It has been a very good debate, Mr. Speaker, to know why the GSU are in Kisii, and I've heard from even Honorable reading why we should have GSU officers, Mr. Speaker. What is their work? And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I seek that this House now assembly adjourns, and I request I'm requesting Honorable Peter Otachi to second. Support.
It is a motion I cannot allow. That point of order on Tachi proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As the move of motion has said, I rise to second with John, because you've realized there's a lot of because of the interest that it attracts. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I second.
Honourable members, before I say anything, there was a motion on the naming of the lords by Honourable Ridian, which we will discuss in the afternoon, because it was allocated time for the same. Honourable members, I now propose a question which is that pursuant to Standing Order 28, this House Assembly to now adjourn. I now put a question which is that pursuant to the Standing Order 28, this County Assembly to now adjourn. As many are of the same opinion say aye. Aye. As many of the contrary opinion say nay. There I have it. This House adjourned until today in the afternoon at 2:30.